how-to thing. It's how to do things, how to turn the buttons, how to operate the machines, so you are not lost in operation. So we will explain you how to press the buttons on two models that you will be experiencing, which is the DAV and the 715, and also how to apply it to the body, signs to watch for, and the basic techniques that you need to get there.
Just so you can get maximum out. So this is a DOV. A DOV stands for device, D. O is organizes, O, vital energy. So, but what's fun about the scenar, what's so lovely about it, is don't you want to have that feedback from the client? But how about the feedback directly on the body? So what's really interesting is all we do is turn, probably the easiest thing to know about the DOV or any of our devices is ideally where would you place your hand on someone if they said they hurt? Do you hurt anywhere in this area at all?
No.
No? Okay. Anywhere on your body do you hurt?
Nope.
You're not a good model. So, but that's okay. We'll find places where you're a pain in someone's neck or you have a pain in your neck that you're not aware of. So, but what's so lovely is we can actually just turn it on, and that's just a little button on the side here. Okay. And then we can actually just put it on the body, and we can find out where there is what we call...
I'll talk about the smaller symmetries.
Oh, okay. Where it kind of sticks. And then when you do that, the woman here, you can hear the little beeping. Beep, 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 beep. It's telling that we got a good connection. So, and I'll get that right now, because I know there's a problem. Not a problem, but I know there's something going on right here. You can't hear it. Here we go. Do you hear that? So I know we made a good connection. And now we have some lights that are going to turn brighter on this one model, meaning they're going to go from light color white to then, how would you say, a brighter white. Okay. And there are 4 lights. So when the second light goes off, it's kind of like it receives 25% of the way through of making like a bridge to something. When we get the third light, we're like 75%. And when we hit the fourth light, we're going to get a beep, 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 which kind of says, hey, the bridge is now completed, and healing is actually going to occur now for the body.
We call that the dose, meaning that the machine achieved the point of minimum necessary dose of action that is enough to create a good change in the body. It doesn't mean that everything is completed. It just means that it's enough to create a positive shift in the system. So you can, at that moment, you can move somewhere else, or you can stay in that point and let the device continue. Whatever you decide. You can check, you can detach the machine and check, is pain already gone, or is it still there? If it's pain still there, you keep working here. Or if pain moves somewhere, you move with the pain. So we call it chasing the pain. So the basic signs to watch for is to, first of all, don't forget to turn the machine on. Okay? So this little switch on the side, on the side of the machine, has to be on. So you have to have the machine on. You have to have good contact of the electrodes.
Comfortable? Because I'm holding you. So.
That works with the skin, meaning it doesn't walk through clothes. So you have to have these electrodes contacting the skin all the way. This little space between 2 electrodes, that's the main one that produces electricity. So you need to make sure that both electrodes touch the skin at some area. And if that happens, then you will hear the beep. If device is not beeping, it means there's contact is not quite right. So you need to hear the beep. And it will be beeping and blinking, and the more it's beeping and blinking, the more important is the area. It means the more activity. The more activity, the better for us. So the faster it is beeping, the better it is. So it's like the bird talking to you a lot. Well, the dove is a bird, so when it does a lot of talking, it means it does a lot of work. So that's good. If you don't hear that quite right, it means it's not quite the right area. You better move somewhere else.
Well, and another part is if you don't hear it at all, then sometimes there's not much energy in that area. Like I do a lot of work in gerontology. People who are real old, real frail, I'll put it on an area. Or let's say there's a knee injury. We put it on there, there's so much damage, there's no conductivity. That's when I know, hey, I put it on the skin, but now I need to put the soft laser there to get the energy up high enough for the body now to have enough energy to actually do the work. So you're gonna see that conductivity started, but if you don't hear anything, two questions. One, may not be the right spot. The second is, you know, did you have an injury there? Is there a break in energy? And then that might be the time to know to use a soft laser or other energetic, other light sources, or other things to help get that energy high. So you get that.
And if you don't have it, don't have anything else, you better move to some kind of different spot to find that. Now, which spot to start with? Usually you start with a place of pain. We call it point of pain, which means the closest place to the pain as possible. And try just when you start your treatment, try to sit, close your eyes, and concentrate. Which area of the body should I be on? Like, what do I want? If you're treating a client, let client sit with his eyes closed, concentrate, and tell you which area he wants the machine on, which area he wants to be worked at. That is intuitive, that is very subjective, but it doesn't really matter. What it matters is where to start. So that usually be the point of pain is the best place to start. If a client has a point of pain. If there is no point of pain, then we usually utilize what we call the general areas of regulation, which means the areas on the body which can do everything. Which no matter what is happening to the system, there are certain areas on the body which will be good for everything. I'll show you, we will show it to you in a second. So just remember, if client has a pain or complaint, any complaint, that he can localize with his finger or a palm and put his palm or a finger on that place you need to go. Because that, and if the client has several complaints, then ask the client to assess those complaints on a scale from 0 to 10 and say, okay, this pain is 6, this pain is 3, this nausea is 9. Okay? So you go with the highest number. It doesn't have to be the same complaint. You go with the most important, we call it the main complaint. So the client needs to separate the main complaint. If there is no main complaint, go with general areas of regulation. Okay, now let us show you the general areas of regulation. So the best one is what we call 3 pathways, 6 points. So you're turning your machine on, right? So it's now light will be on. It can be green light or white light, depending on the model. Now it has to beep and blink. So you put your machine right below the C7, the 7th cervical vertebra. And you start moving it slowly down, so machine will be beeping and blinking. And you can do it this way. And going down, all the way down to the tailbone. You can turn it around, but don't detach it from the skin. Right down to the tailbone, and then complete that way on the neck. It's a cycle, it's a circle. You started below C7, go down, and then complete it that way above C7. Okay, that's one route, one pathway. The second one is just to the left from the first one. So it will be the same way, just the left paravertebral. Bladder channel. Okay, and again completing here. You can do it several times. And then to the right. Okay, that's a dose.
Do you hear that beep, beep, beep?
That's a dose.
So, and now he's leaving it on. The beeping will stop, and it will go to the next level of helping that bridge even shore up even more.
So that's number 3. Okay. all the way down to the tailbone, and completing here. So you can do several cycles on each part, okay? So that's called the 3 pathways. By that way, you are influencing central nervous system, spinal cord, and you're influencing sympathetic and parasympathetic ganglia on the right and on the left, and also cleaning bladder channels, as well as the do channel. So that's the kind of a main.
Question of, considering that the body energy flow is going up rather than down, shouldn't you go in the direction?
We do not follow the direction of the energy flow because these channels carry energy in different directions.
One's actually going up, the other one's down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was also going to, I've heard that as well. I was going to say the same thing. We have another scanner, and I don't know, I've heard it's like a different Russian model.
Yeah, it's called the rhythm scanner most likely.
And they say, or a lot of the directions say that not to go down the spine or across with the, because it's got a similar electrical, but it's longer.
No.
And if you go across the vertebrae, you have to go to the spine.
No. That's not, that's across. It's not down the spine. The classical Russian technique is going from a C7 down to the coccyx and finalizing the loop on above the C7. What you don't do, what you don't want to do, you don't want to cross the spine that direction so it crosses all 3 channels at the same time. There are techniques that do it specifically in order to put kind of chaos in the energy system. It's called the energy cleanse. And we do it once in a while just to shake the entire system and put energetic in complete chaos so it can reset itself. This is a special technique. For 3 pathways, we don't do that. For the scanners of all generation, is not recommended to, we don't have that model here, but it's not recommended.
Do you have your model?
Yeah, you have it. Thank you. It's not recommended to keep it that way. I'll show you.
Yeah.
Scanners of all generation have pretty large electrode. So when you put it that way on the back, it crosses all 3 channels at the same time. So in classical Russian technique, what you do, you go that way.
Okay. All right.
With the newer scanners, compare the size. So there is no danger in going that way or that way. You can go anyway. And then do the left channel and then do the right channel. So that's the only precaution, and you're absolutely right, with the old generation scanner we don't do it.
Again, did you hear that? With the old generation scanner, you don't want to do that.
Or you
the
don't
newer
want
generations, it's not an issue anymore at all.
Or you don't want to cross the spine that way. You don't want to do that. Even with the newer scanners, you don't go with active scanner across the spine. What you may want to do, if you really want to go across, you do this.
Now she has the device off now. Okay. Don't do this.
Don't do that. Don't do what I do. Do what I say, right? So you go before the spine, detach it, and continue on the other side, or do the spine that way. So if you want to do that. Now, so that was the first kind of general areas of general regulation. Sometimes we supplement it with 6 points on the face. It's not always, but there are 6 points on the face. I'll show in my own face so you don't have to turn a wonderful model around. These 6 points are exit points of a trigeminal nerve. And the first 2 points are on the bottom. It's like on the right and on the left from your chin, right on the edge of the bone. So that would be the first one. Second one. Always start from the right side of the client's face. Second pair of trigeminal nerve points right here. To the right and to the left from the nostrils. And the third pair of points is the most tricky. It's right over here, on the edge of the orbit, the internal part. So sometimes you need to lift up the eyebrow. So put a part of the scanner, just so it starts beeping.
Medium rare or what?
Right here.
You need a lot
so to make sure you have connection, because sometimes the eyebrow
your
will
energy's
not
going up
allow you to have
so
connection. Attachments are great if you do 6 points, and that will be your last point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's a form of just
Yeah,
relief.
yeah, about a 2 out of a 12. No, that just means you reserve
No,
slots.
it's the form of completion the
So we're
technique,
gonna just
because
stop,
with the 3 pathways, 6 points, you're addressing the central nervous system, meaning you're addressing the spinal cord, you're addressing also parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system, but you also want to address the brain. So these points are kind of entry points of trigeminal nerve, which will allow address the brain.
And someone here said that their very good friend is having problems with, had eye surgery or some eye issues. So that would be then using the dove on those 4 points here is one of the, and then actually, could you share that just in the corners a little bit?
Later.
Okay.
Because right now I just don't want to go.
Regarding the eye issues, how about the people who do the basic surgery to correct the vision? So
Yeah, we can talk about it right now. I just want to stay within within the major techniques, and then we can address the questions if it's okay. Okay, so that was the first and major area of general regulation called 3 pathways, 6 points, which you will use when there is no particular complaint in the client's body. But if there is complaint, we do what? We do point of pain, right? We go right where the pain is. Work on the pain and then move where pain moves. So you're moving with the pain. Now, things to remember. You can just turn the machine on and keep going in what we call the default mode, meaning not changing any settings on the machine. Just turn it on and proceed with the technique. But you also may consider changing the energy setting on the machine, because some people will feel your influence too much, and some will say it's not enough, I want to feel it. For that you have 2 buttons on the machine. You have the button with the plus. If you start pressing it, you will feel it stronger, and minus, obviously, it will be weaker. So depending on what your clients or you yourself want, lots of our clients really want to feel it. So you have to crank it up until they say enough. It doesn't have to be painful, but we usually suggest that clients feel kind of a tingling sensation. It's usually a pleasant one. This is a very dynamic feature. So as you go with the different parts of the body, they will be more or less sensitive. So you want to regulate, keep your fingers on these 2 buttons all the time. So if you be on the neck, you want to put it down. If you're somewhere on the back, you want to crank it up. So that's pretty much everything you need to know about operating the buttons to begin with. There are other modes on the dove, but it's like for cosmetology and other muscle stimulation purposes. One of the modes is microcurrent mode. So, but you don't need to know it to start, to begin with. So it's enough for you to know. Now, very important point. When you start working on the point of pain, what exactly are you looking for? We have the term, and it's a complicated term, but I need to tell you that. In the classical Russian scanner technique, it's called a small asymmetry. Asymmetry means anything that is different from the rest of the skin by certain characteristics. So you are looking for this place of difference. Let's say that you, for example, you don't have any pains, but let's imagine that you have a pain somewhere in the area of left scapula. We don't know what that pain is, we just kind of know that pain is somewhere there. In order to get a really good result, you need to pretty much identify where is that place where you want to put your machine and keep it there. So what you start doing, you start checking the area. So you pretty much go, well, the vector usually goes from the left to the right, from the top to the bottom. So you go this way, moving towards the spine. And again, right, from the top to the bottom, from the left to the right. And somewhere on this area, you will feel the area that is different. And the difference may show in several different ways. One of our major and most favorite differences, we call the stickiness. It means that machine will really, stick. It will be difficult to move. It doesn't want to go. It's just kind of stuck to that place. some of our clients describe it as magnetic pull. So you go and somewhere you find that magnetic pull. You want to continue at that point. So to make sure this is a correct magnetic pull. So you may walk for about 30 seconds to a minute, just checking the area. And give yourself a good area, like a large area. The larger the better for yourself. So you make sure that you got the right spot. So somewhere on that area, and then by the way, I'm having a little area right over here.
You see the redness coming right out? It's kind of going, hello, I'm right here.
There is no magnetic pull here, so it's not that sign. So magnetic pull is one of the versions of small asymmetry. Another version is changing color, and that's exactly what we're having here. See, the little change in color. So that spot showed a little redness. That's also a sign of small asymmetry. Another version of that sign is the change in the sound. It will be some areas where machine all of a sudden will have a dull sound, or just an opposite, the loud sound. So you go that way, and somewhere in that area, machine will drop the sound. So that would be good. It's not dropping it here. Now another sign would be the sensitivity. Some of the areas of the skin all of a sudden will express like high sensitivity, or just an opposite, very low. It will be numb or oversensitive. Is that sensitive at all? No, not really. Okay.
He's a hard body.
He is a hard body, that's right. But we have another sign, and I'll show you in a second. That's quite interesting. Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
No.
So I'm repeating: sticky spot, red stickiness, change in color. It can be red like here, or just an opposite white. So.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be red.
Change in sound, loud sound or dull sound. Change in sensitivity, less sensitive, more sensitive. Anything that is different from the rest by certain characteristics and small in size. So it's called the small asymmetry. Asymmetry means no symmetry, with difference. Now, this is 4 like characteristics. But what we have here also very interesting. We have a little hive right in the middle, and if you guys push it close, you can see it. See that, like a little pimple, almost like a bite. Looks like a bite, but it's not really a bite. It's a little hive. And when we have hive like that, we know for sure that's a really good spot. So when the body develops this little hive, that's the place to be. You may have several asymmetries on the same area. What you're looking for the smallest in size and the most intensive in characteristics. So that's your small asymmetry. So when you identify that, all you need to do is to put your machine there.
That's it.
And keep it until it doses, right? So you keep it until it doses.
And already it's going...
It's already 2.
Right.
So we are keeping it until all the lights will turn on and machine will start beeping. And my machine is the old version, so you have the green lights and the newer ones have...
See, now we got 3.
And if you identify the place correctly, that will be a turning point for your entire system.
Do you hear it? See it?
So it goes. I can detach it now and say, well, that's enough. And it will be really enough for the system to start doing something. And I may, if I have time, stop beeping, right? It reverberates, it goes another cycle. I can keep it there if I want to. I don't have to detach it. But it's necessary minimum to create a change. So that's pretty much how you do point of pain, right guys? After that, don't forget, you change your function of the affected area before and function of the affected area after. So you can see if it's a frozen shoulder, you can pretty much see change in the range of motion, of the angle, or whatever the function is, whatever area you're working on. So function of the affected area. So this is like a very, very basic of how to do the dove, right? Pretty clear? Now, with the 715 is a very similar machine in operation to the doves because they both kind of work in the same way. The 715 has a little more complicated screen. Well, first of all, it has a screen. The dove doesn't. So you will have different figures on the screen, but again, all you need to do is to turn the machine on. Don't go into all the details of all the modes that machine have. You don't need it to start getting the good results with what you're doing. So you just turn the machine on. You will see the female figure on the screen. I don't know why they put the female there, but they did. And what you will hear the sound. You will feel the vibration. You can turn the sound off. You can turn the vibro off. It's almost like a cell phone, operating the cell phone. For this machine, you can do the same procedure, identifying small asymmetry and putting the machine there and waiting for the dose. Now, on 715, the dose is the central little circle in the center, which has to fill in completely. That would be the dose. Instead of 4 blinking 4 lights, you will have this circle in the center filled in. Now, for 715, there are 2 little arrows on the top, which would tell you more energy, less energy. Feel more, feel less. That's all you need to know. No change in modes, don't worry about it. If you really want to go into details, there is an assessment mode. If you keep pressing the mode button, the 5th mode will be an assessment mode like this. You can take the readings. So if you want to make sure that the spot is the correct one, you start taking the readings. You put the machine on. It will give you a little, it will take almost EAV, like electroacupuncture by wall. You do the same manner. And you keep taking the readings.
Wow, he's real even.
No,
well,
not
a little
really.
bit high. Yeah.
My small asymmetry gave him. See where the small asymmetry came up? Where the little one? So the highest column will give you the place where you need to press the machine, to put the machine. So when you selected that, just go into general mode and keep it there as long as you can. You can keep it until the dose fills in or longer than that. So that's pretty much basics.
Or if you're at home, put it on a pillow and go to sleep. You wake up with an indentation. You go back to your chiropractor and they go, gosh, you feel so much better than you did yesterday.
One thing. 715 turns on automatically on contact. So you don't have to really turn it on. You can pretty much put it on the body.
2 to
the machine
7.
will turn on by itself.
We'll have a little more reserve. Great.
But there is also on and off button here. If you want to turn it on or off, you keep your nail on this button for a couple seconds. Otherwise, it will not turn on and off. So you have to give it 2 or 3 seconds so the machine reacts to your attention.